Here you have the review sheet for Chapter 9. The test will be on Wednesday, March 27th. So for today's date, you can put 25th, since you're doing this for homework tonight. And the same for number 1, suppose the scatter plot shows that as the values of x decrease, the values for y decrease. Does the scatter plot show a positive, negative, or no association? Well, if I did a sketch of a graph where both of the values were decreasing, I'm going down this way, and that shows a positive association or positive line. Number 2 says a car owner tracks the value of a car over time using a scatter plot, which description best represents the association between the car's value and the age. Well, it appears that if I drew a line of best fit, that's how the data is on the line, and that would be a negative association, choice A. 3 and 4, we are explaining whether the scatter plot for the data for each of the following shows a positive, negative, or no association, and interpret the scatter plot. For number 3, if I drew the line of best fit, it looks like it's going in a positive direction or a positive slope line. And most of the data is close to or on the line. I don't see any clusters or outliers for number 3. For number 4, again, if I drew a line of best fit, most of the data is on the line. This is a positive association. And I don't really see any outliers or clusters. Number 5 says, Rehan's yacht holds 70 passengers. Each hour he stops at the marina to let some passengers off and on. The table shows how many passengers are on board during each hour of boating. Construct a scatter plot of the data and then draw and assess a line that seems to best represent the data. So at 1, we're at 30. At 2, we're at 40. At 3, we're back down to 32. 4, we're back up to 40. And 5, we're at 55. If I draw a line of best fit, make it a dotted line. Looks like that could be a line of best fit. And I'm going to assess that line that is a positive association. And that as the hours increase, the number of passengers increases. Use the line of best fit to make a conjecture about the number of passengers that will be on the boat at 8 hours. So here's 8 hours, and if I go up to my line, I am right about there, which is almost at 70. So I'm going to say I'm about 65. So I'm going to say 65 passengers would be a good answer. Number 6, Sage belongs to a bird watching club. Every 2 days, she goes out and counts the number of black-footed parakeets she sees. The scatter plot shows the number of parakeets she saw in the past 12 days. Write an equation in the slope-intercept form for the line that is drawn. So we're looking to write it as y equals mx plus b. I need to know my slope, and I need to know where it's crossing the x or the y-axis. Looks like it's crossing at positive 3. I picked that point, and I'm just going to go with this point that's right next to it. And that was going from 3 to 4. So I was at 0, 3, and then I was at 2, 4. And the difference between these two is 1. The difference between these two is 2. So my slope is up 1 over 2, or 1/2. And so I have y equals 1/2 x plus 3. Use that equation to make a conjecture about the number of parakeets she saw on the 18th day. Well, the days is my x value. So I'm going to put 18 in for x, 1/2 times 18 plus 3, and get y equals 9 plus 3, which means that there were 12 parakeets. Number 7 is asking us to construct a two-way table and then summarize. The two-way table shows the enrollment in language classes at Carson Middle School. Find and interpret the relative frequencies of students in the survey by row. Round to the nearest 100. If necessary, we are doing by row, so we are going across. I get my calculator ready, and I'm taking 30 divided by 95. So I have 0.32. 65 divided by 95 gives me 0.68. And 95 divided by 95 gives me 1.00. Same thing for if you're not Chinese, taking the language. 20 divided by 25 is 0.80. 5 divided by 25 gives me 0.20. And 25 divided by 25 is 1.00. The largest relative frequency is the 0.80, which is right here. And that means that the most enrollment occurs in Spanish, but not Chinese. For number 8, we're looking to find the mean, median, mode, and range of each of the data sets. Number 8 says these are the points scored by a football team, and we need to order them from least to greatest before we can begin. So I have 0. Whoops, not 14 just yet. I have a 6. Then I have 14, 16, 20, 21, 24, 28. And my mode, which is the easiest one to find, is the one that occurs the most. We have 2 of those. We have 14 that occurs 2 times, and we have 21. My mean is when I add all the numbers together. 6, 14, 14, 16, 20, 21, 21, 24, 28. I get a total of 164, and I divide by how many there are. I divide by 10. So I get a mean of 16.4. That's the average point scored by the football team. The median is the middle number, so I just work my way from the outside in. And so now I have 16 and 20 is where I'm at. I add those 2 together, and I divide it by 2. So I get 36 divided by 2 gives me a middle number of 18. And the range is when I take the highest number and subtract the lowest number, which is 0. So I get a range of 28. I'm going to try the same thing for number 9 with weekly earnings in dollars. Smallest number that I have looks like 205. Then 225. After 225, I have a 240 and a 245. I have a 250 three times. I have a 255, 260, 275, and 295. So the mode looks like the most occurring number is 250. The mean is when I add all of them up. So I'm going to take a minute here and add all of them up. I get a total of 2750. I'm going to divide by how many there are. Divide by 11. And I get a mean or an average of 250. The median is the middle number. I'm going to work my way from the outside in. Puts me right at 250. And the range is when I take the 295 and subtract 205. I get 90. Try number 10 on your own. Pause the video, and then when you're done, press play and see if you get the same answers. So what you should have had for number 10 is starting with a 61, 84, 86, 87, 91, 96, 97, and 98. And after I do this, I'm going to use this information to draw a Box and Whisker plot. So the mean, if I add all of these up, I get a total of 700. And if I divide by 8, I get 87.5 for an average on the quiz score. The mode, well, there's not a number that occurs twice, so there is no mode. The median is working my way to the middle number, which puts me at 87 and 91. If I add them and divide by 2, I get a middle number of 89, and the range is from 98 to 61, which is 37. So, in order to find or do a Box and Whisker plot, I'm going to take the minimum and the maximum. I need the 5-number summary, 61 and 98. I need the middle number, which was right here at 89. I need the lower quartile and the upper quartile. So I need the median of this information on this side, which would give me a middle number here at 85. And then I need a middle number going this way, which would put me at 96.5. Now I'm going to plot this information on my line. I'm actually going to start at 60. I'm going to count by 5 up to 100. 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. And I'm just going to kind of estimate where 61 would be, where 98 and 96.5. And now I can draw my box and my whiskers.